Yes. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good morning. I don't really know what time it is, if I'm honest. It's very, very late. And it feels like a night shift, but I don't want to go to bed yet because I'm buzzing still. And I did a show on mine. I see Lee's just come over from AFTV. Big up to Judge Mo, who's rated as well. So big up to AFTV and Judge Mo, who've sent everybody over here. Really appreciate that, guys. Welcome to every single one of you people. Please make sure you do me a favor. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. 2 buttons that are absolutely free. Like and subscribe. We're on the way to 50k people, which is the next target. So let's make sure we can get us there. If you haven't checked out Football's 12th Man, that's my channel. Please go do the same. On my way to 40k. So please come and check that out too. Judges. I know you've been speaking about it on AFTV, but it feels like you can speak about it all again because we're buzzing. We spoke after the game and it was all a bit rush because of all the filming that we do, but we could just see and sense an atmosphere that has kind of gone missing a little bit at the Emirates, mate. It's something that I've missed for, I don't know, a little bit too long than I thought. I think that the last couple of years, we've definitely been really excited to be in title races, and the atmosphere at the Emirates has been pretty electric. But I have to be real with you, I don't think it has quite been there this season. But today, I thought it was rocking. I thought the fans did an unbelievable job. Big up to the Manchester City fans as well, by the way, because I thought they were great right till the end. And I
Yeah,
know that little bit of, I don't know if you can call it rivalry, shithousery, whatever you want to call about banter, I suppose, at the moment, because neither of us are really in a great position, but we're certainly in a better position than they are. So big up to both sets of fan bases today. And I will say this, I probably haven't enjoyed a game as much as that one all season. Um, and it had everything in it, if I'm honest with you. There was a number of reasons why I enjoyed it. I enjoyed individual performances. I enjoyed team performances. I loved the fact that 2 young Haaland boys have come through now and proven yet again that we do have a fantastic youth academy and setup. And I kind of wanted to start there, if I'm honest with you, judges, because I want to get your thoughts on the game. But I know a lot of people have heard from you from AFTV. But I wanted to kind of start with the young kids. And I wanted to ask you a simple question. How good can these two be? You know, you and I have been very, very lucky and fortunate. You've seen a lot more than I have, to be fair, in terms of youngsters that's come through. But I'm talking Tony Adams. I'm talking Rocky. I'm looking at Bukayo Saka and
oh,
Jack Wilshere of late, Ashley Coles. And then, of course, our good friends, Super Kevin Campbell, Paul Merson, Ray Parler. They've all come through. I think these two are going to be in that mould, bruv. I really do. I don't think these two are going to be a Joe Willock or a Maitland Niles or a Chuba Akpom. I can see these two going into that next level, bruv. But what do you think?
well, yeah. We was talking about it today as well. Uh, Wanyeri at this moment in time was doing better things than what Saka was doing at this age. We all know what happened to Saka. It's incredible. Scores a goal like that in Seville, you can turn around and go, "Oh, was that a little bit of a freak?" But he's done it at Preston. Oh, it's against Preston. It's against Preston, it's not so good. Blah, blah, blah. So he does it against Seville. Oh, well, not so great there. And then he's done it against Manchester City. I think he's an unbelievable talent. I'm so proud of it. We were talking earlier on about the best players that have come through. Listen, you can go back, Liam Brady. You can probably go back earlier than that with some of the youngsters that have come through at this football club. And as you said, Ian Wright, obviously Kevin Campbell come through, David Rocastle come through, Michael Thomas, Martin Keown, Paul Merson, Tony Adams. The list goes on. And even in this era, the Emirates era, Jack Wilshere was unbelievable. If you was to really push me for a few teenagers that have come through, I would have to say Cesc Fabregas. I know he didn't come through like the proper academy, but he was there in that sort of team. Would be like one teenager that's impressed me more than that. I have to bring Jack into that. I really do. I have to bring Jack into it as a teenager. Nicholas Anelka's another one that, as a teenager, really, really impressed me. But these two boys have been unbelievable for me. I will say that I don't know which one's going to have the better career at this moment in time, because I think the ceiling is so high on them. But Wanyeri, I just think is just something unreal. I've got to say that, like, you know, the way he looks, the build and everything like that, you know, it's just unbelievable. We've got a player, Dan, that's going to save us millions and millions of pounds, because I don't think that he can be back Saka's backup from a couple of years, but he's going to have to find a place for him in the team somewhere now. It could be in the Odegaard role, and Odegaard maybe dropping back a little bit in a few years' time. But we're blessed. We're blessed with two fantastic young kids, and it's fantastic for Arsenal Football Club to be able to do that. Like, you know, to bring players through. You know, we've been, you know, the academies work for us fantastically well. You know, we've got obviously Saka come through that, Smith Rowe's come through that, like, you know, Iwobi's come through. When you think about that, we've made a lot of money out of a few of the guys as well. So it is just fantastic. And it just gives you that little bit of a boost. And I'm with you on this. Like, you know, today's game was unbelievably, I'm buzzing from it. Like, I've had a few beers, I've enjoyed it. I'm buzzing, all of those sort of things. But today's game was really, really enjoyable. I didn't really know what to expect today, what was going to happen. Well, one thing I do know is that I don't like a few of their players. I really, really don't. And that gives us that gives you a little bit more of an edge, if I'll be really honest. I'm not a real lover of Pep, if I'll be honest. I'm not a real lover of him. Admire him for what he's done, yes, but not a real lover. Bernardo Silva, I cannot stand. I cannot stand that little snake. Obviously, Haaland, you know, don't like him. I ain't a big lover of Rodri. You know, I don't like John Stones, if I'll be honest. He hasn't really done anything, but I don't like him. I don't like the goalkeeper, even though he didn't play today. So, and I have to say it, their fans irritate me as well. They're arrogant lot, you know, particularly at the Etihad.
Oh, they're arrogant fan base.
Yeah. But I will say that, you know, I admire their away support today. They was fantastic, like, you know, and stayed to the, you know, I've got to give them a little bit of credit for that, because they're used to winning, and they're getting smashed. And they all stayed to the end, you know. So I admire them for that. So listen, I've got to say today, but I felt that we played really well first 20, 25 minutes. Then I felt, you know, we sat back waiting to pick them off. The tactic didn't work big time. You know, it looked like, oh, they're going to score. And when they did, the reaction from that goal, Dan, to the final whistle, what a pleasure it was to be in that ground. Not just watching the way we was playing, the way we knocked it about, the style of play, the way we played, everything like that. The atmosphere in the ground was unbelievable. Like, you know, it was unbelievable. There's still a few little negatives from it all. Like, you know, someone said that none of our signings from the summer started that game. That's the semi-final now, and that game there, they didn't start. But listen, sometimes it's about squads. And today, you know, listen, from Raya to the two wide players, to Havertz, to the midfield, I thought our midfield was sensational today. All three, unbelievable. But Raya had to make a couple of incredible saves, missed chances, you know, but we got the job done, Dan. And to beat them 5-1 is for me, you know, I've always, you know, I've been harping on that for a long while, you know what I mean? Like, beat one of these rivals big time, because they've done it to us in the past, you know what I mean? City have done it to us, Liverpool have done it to us, Chelsea have done it to us, Man United have done it to us, when we've not been at it and not quite as the same level of them. They've crushed us. And today we crushed them. And I'm going to be really honest with you, Dan. We would have crushed them up there if it weren't for that sending off. We was right in the ascendancy in that game then, like to really go and put them on there. And I actually turned around when we went 1-0. I said to my mate Kevin, and he backed me up on that. I said, wouldn't it be lovely if we got 4 or 5 against these today? Now, it didn't look like happening, but in the end it did. And I can't be no more pleased than what I've seen today. Like, you know, it was an unbelievably fantastic performance. It really was.
It really was. Look, I love what Thierry Henry said today. His exact words were, I love Lewis-skelly. He's one of our own. I like the goal. I enjoyed the celebration even more. It was an unbelievable celebration right in front of me, which is where I sit over there at the corner flag. It was brilliant to see. I think he has been one of the better players this season, Lewis-skelly. And people might think that's a bit odd because he's only just come onto the scene. But actually, that's where we're at as a team. I don't think anyone has really massively shined. I think the 2 players that stand out that have been playing the majority of games are Thomas Partey and Raya. I think they've been fairly good this season. Other than that, I'm kind of looking, thinking, yeah, he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good. He's been all right. He's been all right. Lewis-skelly is probably one of the next on the list, along with Gabriel. I think's been phenomenal and really consistent so far this season. And I think with Lewis-skelly, I don't really want to compare him to anybody because I think he can just be Miles Lewis-skelly. But he is going to get the comparisons to the youngsters. He is going to get Ashley Cole vibes. He is going to get Bukayo Saka comparisons. He is going to get Jack Wilshere comparisons because he's playing in those positions. He's a midfielder and an attacker that's kind of dropped into the left back. That's exactly what Ashley Cole was. Now, a lot of the Arsenal fans are going to hype him up because that's what we do. But there are actually some rival fans that have said, I see similarities to when Ashley Cole first came to Arsenal. That doesn't mean he's going to be better than Ashley Cole, by the way. It doesn't mean he's going to be half the player of Ashley Cole. What it means is he just reminds similarities to when Ashley Cole was at Highbury and he joined us in that position. Nobody knew who he was, really. Everyone sort of said, he looks promising. And that's all it was with Ashley Cole. And then, of course, he went to new levels and started to become an unbelievable player. And in my opinion, walks into everyone's dream 11 of Premier League all-time for the left-back, right? So I can understand that. With Ethan, I must say, yes, it was a great goal, but did you actually see the ball from Declan Rice? That was absolutely unbelievable pass.
I didn't realise how good a ball that was.
You don't do it because you look at the goal and you watch the goal, don't you? You look at that ball from Declan Rice, it's phenomenal. Another player I thought was brilliant. He looks like he's coming back to his best, by the way, Declan Rice. And Partey today, absolutely sensational. So I think today, when you look at the individuals, Lee, you know it's a good team performance when you can look at what everybody's done. David Raya, spot on what you said. First half, 2 unbelievable saves. One of them was world-class save, right? Then you look at the defence today. I thought Timber was back to his best. I thought Gabriel was immense. I thought Saliba was fantastic and deserved a mention. I look obviously at Lewis-skelly that we mentioned and Ethan Waneri coming on. All the midfield trio today. Partey and Rice absolutely dominated Manchester City's midfield. And I've got to say it, Lee, I didn't really like the fact that Ethan Waneri weren't starting, if I'm honest with you. I thought that was a little bit harsh. But didn't Trossard and Martinelli look good again? I thought they both played well, you know? And then we come to your mate Kai, who in the first 20 minutes, I wanted to pull my hair out because he's missed an absolute sitter. And then he scores a goal, which is even harder. And you know what? I thought he was good tonight. His work rate was there. I thought everything he did was pretty good. Just frustrating that he missed that. And I don't think he quite understood how he missed it, if I'm honest with you. But that's what we get. So I don't think there was a performance tonight I could look at and think it was shambolic. There was players that come onto the pitch as well and that made it right. I just thought we were better in every way than Manchester City, who are a team that just looked completely lost. And I'm quite surprised, if I'm honest, how bad Pep has tried to replace Rodri. It's just not worked at all. And the midfield is just getting absolutely dominated, which is allowing them to be leaking goals from their defence. So I thought we turned it on tonight. I thought we were absolutely electric and we deserved the win. But I will say, just lastly, I never had 5-1 as my prediction. Let me tell you that. No. So we have to say fair play.
Listen, you have to say fair play and you have to say, like, whether you think he's right or wrong all the time, he got it spot on today, Arteta. I'm there saying that Waneri's a must start after that performance against Girona, but
yeah,
he didn't, and why hasn't he started him, sort of thing, like. But
yeah, that's what I was doing.
The 2 wide players were outstanding, as you say, like Kai Havertz. If he scores that chance, we'll all be talking about him a little bit differently. I really do believe that, because I thought he played really, really well. But, that you've got to take that chance. The midfield was sensational. Defence done its job. I thought were brilliant as well. And as you said, the goalkeeper. I'm going to say now that Arteta absolutely tore Pep apart today with tactics and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It was the sorcerer was done by the apprentice. Like, you know what I mean? In every shape or form. I think you've got to look at City and go, they never pressed us. They never, whether they were scared of us breaking the press, I don't know. The goals they've given away from dodgy passes and things like that, we was onto them like, could have had a few more by that. And it was a real fantastic performance from the manager to do what he done today. And listen, we're there. We're there with our, at the front of the queue. When he's not doing well and he's made mistakes, we're there to criticise him. We're at the front of the queue. So I'm going to be at the front of the queue when he does things like that and gets everything spot on. And he did today. I'm still not convinced about, people singing the song. He knows exactly what we need, because I don't think he does, because we haven't got the striker. I think that it was crying out for that today in some ways. But then other people say, look, you've scored 5 against Manchester City. And,
Can I just come in on that quickly, very, very quickly, because I really like what you've just said there. Not the song bit, my thoughts on the song. I think it's embarrassing. But actually the bit about he knows exactly what we need and it's the striker and everything. People that keep saying, we don't need a striker now, we scored 5. We don't need a striker, we got 91 goals last season. Imagine what we would do if we did have a striker then. This is what people don't get. If we had that number 9 on top of scoring 91 goals without one and scoring 5 goals against Sporting Lisbon and today against City and against Palace and against West Ham, what could we do with an Isak, a Gyökeres, an Osimhen, whoever you want? What could we do? And that's what some people don't seem to want to be talking about, Lee. It's like, why do people still think we need a striker? Like, come on, everyone sees we need a striker. I'll read you these quick comments from Thierry Henry today. We need a number 9. Nobody's going to be asking for a number 9 after you win 5-1. We should be asking for a number 9. The situation's still the same, but we've been asking for a number 9 for 4 transfer windows now. How toxic and negative from Thierry. That's what we get told when we called out for one. We got to go and get one, mate. We got to go, and we got a date to go and do it. I don't think we're going to do it, but
No, I listen. I feel you're right. And everybody knows that we need a striker, and not just to improve the team, because you got players that are having to play more games than they should be, and that is true, But forget all that, so we can go into all that. Forget about everything today. Forget about the transfer window and what happens tomorrow. It's another day. If you cannot enjoy smashing the granite out of that team today, that have caused us a lot of misery, then you don't deserve to be a football fan, in my opinion. You've got to enjoy that and not worry about anything else other than what you've seen today. To beat them 5-0, I don't care if they were crap, whatever. It's a great day. And listen, those days don't come around too often, Dan. You know what I mean? We're going to probably go up to Newcastle on Wednesday and be bashed down to earth again, and feeling very, very down. So when you get this done and you get this result, you've got to really enjoy it, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm there for at this moment in time. I listen, if anything ever happens with Arsenal and Arsenal go on and win this league, I'm not saying that they're going to. I think they've got to have a big thank you to Michael Oliver, because I do believe him trying to lose us the league could be the thing that wins us the league, if anything, because I don't think we'd have won that game at Wolves last week, Dan. I don't think we would have done, but we got the result because of the players felt aggrieved by it and everything like that. And the history with Manchester City, they've gone and done that. There's a sense of injustice in everything at this moment in time. And that's what we've got to bottle. That's what we've got to keep. That's what we've got to keep putting on the dressing room. These don't want us, they don't want us to win it, and because I see today, old little Bernard Silva. I know his name's Bernardo, but I don't like to call him by his real name. I call him the Snake. Kicked out at Trossard while he was on the floor.
Awful.
Not even a word. No one getting involved. But when we tap a ball away, letter of the law, letter of the law. Just remember it. They don't want us to win it. Let's get on and bottle that up, and we go again in the next game, like, you know. And I'll tell you what, let's have it now, Newcastle. Let's have you. You know what I mean? Like, you think that you're in Wembley. They've got, you know, they've all probably like booking their hotels, and quite rightly so. But let's go and mess up their party on Wednesday, like, you know, and show that we are really here and get ourselves into that final.
Well, let me ask you about that quick, because obviously that's the next game. Then we've got a break. So my question is, what do we do team-wise? Do we just go all out for it because we've got a break? Do we, if Ethan Nwaneri start? I mean, I looked at Ethan Nwaneri's stats just quickly. He's hardly played the minutes that people think. He has played actually 22 games this season, but it's been mostly as a sub. He's only played, I think it's 600 minutes in total. 7 goals, more than Martin Odegaard this season. Yet some of those were against Preston and Bolton. If I'm honest with you, Lee, I don't care. I really don't care who they're against. They're the numbers. I think they can play together, you know. And I know at the moment they are playing together because he's on the right-hand side. But I don't see that it wouldn't be a bad future to have Ethan Nwaneri in the 10 and Martin Odegaard in the 8. That's something I'd like to see. I would absolutely 100%. Love to see it. I really would, with Saka and Martinelli either side, and obviously our striker that we do finally buy one day in the future, hopefully not this so distant future. That's what I'd like to see. I've got to be real as well with the Newcastle thing. I don't really think we've got anything to lose, because I don't know any Arsenal fan that expects us to go through. I personally do think we're going to win the game, but I don't think we're going to go through. I think we'll probably win 1-0, which will be sod's law. Talk to me. What are you saying?
I'm the same. I think that we'll win, but we won't go through. But like, listen, we ain't got a game for 10 days. They're all going to go off and have a nice little break after this because of, you know, no cup game. Go out there and give it your all. Just go out there and give it everything that you've got. And see what happens. You know, I said on the Forever Arsenal just now, I think the one thing in our favour is I don't know that they may not know how to play this game. Do they attack us? Do they defend? What do they do? Might not play their natural game, and that can work in our benefit. What I will say is, you know, 2 weeks ago it's done and dusted. I think what's happened in the last couple of weeks has not changed it too much, but they've lost their last 2 games at home. So there's going to be a little doubt in their mind that they're not as certainly in the form that they were when they come and played us. And we're now the ones in the form. I think the last 3 games, Dan, have really showed us everything that makes us a really good team. And I'll tell you why that is. The game against Wolves showed us that we responded to the diabolical decision and everything like that. We then change quite a few players over in Spain and get the result done. So that makes that very, very positive. And then we've done what we've done against Manchester City, like, you know. So we're capable of going up there and getting things. But we put ourselves right behind the black ball. But listen, many a good snooker player got behind the black ball and got out of it, like, you know. So we've got to try and do that. And if we can do that, Dan, well, what a week or so it would be. And I think it'd be a big confidence boost going into the break then, knowing that we've got a final to look forward to if we can get through. But it's going to be tough. We've left ourselves a real uphill task, you know. I think if we
do you think it's going to be 2-0? Like, in terms, if we want to go through, do you think it's? I don't think we can win 3-0. So
no, we ain't going to win 3-0. If we're going to win this, it's going to be
the penalties, isn't it?
It's going to be on penalties. Yeah, it's going to be on penalties, and that's even going to be tough when you look at it and you're going to take penalties against them up there with all their fans there. So it's going to be difficult, you know. Listen. If someone come down and said to me, You beat Manchester City 5-1. You're not going to believe that. And if they then turn around and said you're going to beat Newcastle 4-1, who would believe that? But at the end of it, it's not impossible because Bournemouth went up there and done it. I know it's a different game, but they did. And, so there's always a chance. There's always a chance. And I think that's what makes football so special. Look, listen, if Newcastle were capable of beating us at the Emirates 2-0, we're capable of going up there and winning 2-0. That's how I look at it. Like, we've gone up there a couple of seasons and gone 1-2-0.
Yeah.
When Newcastle were banging form, if you remember rightly at that time,
Got top four. Yeah.
So it can be done. I also think that the pressure of them winning a trophy will weigh on them a little bit. Like, they're expected to win this game now. Maybe the pressure of it all having 1 foot at Wembley already and all of that, can take it away. Let's see what happens. I don't go with the greatest of hope, but I'm optimistic. You know what I mean? And why shouldn't we be? Like, we just put in a wonderful performance today. And but we've got to play like that again. Everybody's got to play like that.
Yeah, we play like that again. We got a great chance, but look, I'll say this: I've not got any confidence, so it'll be a shock or a bonus if we go through. But I'll say this: Fulham and Bournemouth have both beaten them convincingly at St James's Park, so it ain't like we're got to be prime Real Madrid to beat Newcastle. They're a good side. I rate them. If they score, we're pretty much out. We've got to score 3 goals to take it to penalties, or 4 goals to go through. That's all they got to do is score against us. And I think they can do that. So that's why I believe that they're out. Now, if it was 1-0, I might be a little bit more confident. But let's just be real. Like, it's going to be very, very tricky. But if we do a bit of an Anfield 89 on them, we go 1-0 up early, and then we see the game out for a bit, make it hard for them, get another one, and it's all to play for then. That's the way we got to try and look at it and just be as positive as we can be. But I'm quite confident that we are going to struggle to get through the tie. And it's a shame. It's a shame because I'd like to win this competition. I don't want Tottenham in the final, by the way. Some people do. I see Harry Durham was with me today and did a bit of a talk sports stuff before the game. And he said, well, I kind of want you to go through. And then Tottenham, I want that North London derby. So he's a Fulham fan, so he don't care.
Yeah, he can stick it. He can stick it, Harry. Stick it
I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
I know what I've done with his mic if he'd have told me that, like, you know what I mean?
I mean, I must say, I think Liverpool-Newcastle final, that's what I do think. I still think Liverpool win at Anfield against Tottenham, but they did well today. Spurs obviously got a good win today, to be fair to them. But look, I'm in that boat. I think it's going to be very, very tricky for us, if I'm honest, and it'll be a game that I do think will be a tough one. Big up to you, Suj. It says hit the like and subscribe. Love for the love. Please make sure you do that, people. Hit the 2 buttons, like and subscribe. We've got nearly 700 of you in here, which is great stuff. Suj also says, whilst the result is something we need to enjoy, this can't hide from the fact we still need a striker. And that's where I want to come to for the last sort of 15, 20 minutes, mate. There is a lot of talk at the moment on Twitter accounts. I don't know how much you follow Twitter and who you think is reliable or unreliable. But we've got Mo Arsenal and Team News and Ticks, who are quite big accounts for Arsenal, with emojis, eye emojis. If this happens, it will break the internet, is the first one. Teaser, potentially. I don't know what that is going to mean. Is it going to be Williams? There's a lot of talk about Nico Williams popping up on timelines. There's also a lot of talk on Matthias Tell as well, which is being spoken about. I don't know.
2 that ain't going to break the internet. Them 2.
Two that aren't going to break the internet. In my opinion, I mean, some people may see it differently. Me and you probably won't. Nico Williams is probably the one that people would get excited about most. Matthias Tell's a good player, but is he really going to be the one that takes us to the next level? Is it going to be that we get a couple of them? I see a couple of accounts saying double bomber coming up to Arsenal. Watkins and Tell, maybe. Watkins and Williams. I don't know. So I think the most realistic is probably Matthias Tell on loan. That's what I think is the most, if I'm honest.
Well, so that's not going to
I hope it's shock arrest. I hope it's Gyökeres because that would break the internet if Arsenal went and got him or Isak.
Yeah, Isak or Gyökeres would break the internet, like it. But you know what I mean. That ain't going to happen. Listen,
No.
tomorrow, Dan. You know what I mean. I'm gonna after this, I'm gonna watch Match of the Day. I'll put my feet up, might have another beer, and then go to sleep. And I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about tomorrow, like, you know what I mean. So what will be will be. You know, like, I'm just going to enjoy tonight's result. Really, really enjoy it. Alfie Haaland, you know what I mean, is trying to. We've rattled him. He's had to get to Twitter about his little son and all that. Like, you know what I mean. Perhaps he should tell his son to have a little bit more respect with his mouth. You know what I mean, like, because he's brought this all on himself. Erling Haaland, he's brought it all on himself. You know, saying to Lewis-skelly, who the fuck are you, and all that. Like, that's wrong for a start. Like, you know, then you know, saying to Mikel Arteta to be humble after he threw the ball at the back of Gabriel's head when he weren't looking. Like, you know, there's only one person needs to be humble. And I'll tell you what, that song today that went out there, like, I love singing it. You know what I mean? Like, and the CUNT at the end of it was even louder, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't stand him. And you know, he's been done with it today, like, you know, and I love it. I love it. You know what I mean? He's been. I'll give him his credit. He scored a goal. You know, that was the only thing that he'd done all the game. But other than that, you know, we bullied him. Absolutely bullied him, like, you know. And I'll tell you something else, Dan, right? Phil Foden. Let's have a little chat about him. I one time out muscled off the ball by Miles. And every time he got the ball today and he was up against Declan Rice, he never took him on once. Looked at him and thought, you know, I'll go somewhere else, like, you know. I would believe that if it's Saka and he's up against Declan Rice, he'd take him on and back himself, like, you know.
Think Saka's better than Foden, Lee?
Yeah. I think Foden had a fantastic season last year. He really did. But for England, he's been a failure. This season, you know, he's not been great. He's been in a fantastic team with fantastic players around him. And let me tell you this, if you've got very, very good players around you, it makes you a better player. It really does. You know what I mean? Like, and he's had some wonderful, wonderful players around him over the last couple of years coming into this side. But now he's got to be the main man a little bit, like, you know. I'm looking at him. Well, I'm not me personally, but if I'm a Manchester City fan, I'm looking for him for the inspiration. He's the one in there today, like, you know, in that midfield, and he's not doing it. But when we've needed Saka to come and perform, he's come and performed. And when it comes to England, Saka's you know, performed more than once or twice or whatever, like, you know. So listen, they play different positions. I get that and everything like that, but you know, today there's only one king of that midfield. Well, all three of them were outstanding. Declan Rice, for what he done, was sensational, and Thomas Partey was just on a different level today. A different level.
Can I ask you if you give him a new contract, Partey?
Well, if he plays like that, give him 5 years. You know what I mean? It was incredible. That was an incredible performance today. Yeah, I would give him a new contract.
I was surprised he didn't get player of the match. It was Declan Rice that
got it. I'm very surprised by that. I thought Declan was outstanding. Don't get me wrong, but I do. Who actually give the man of the match today?
Well, I mean, Gary Neville on Sky
Gary Neville, Gary Neville. You know what I mean? Like, that's over the last 2 or 3 weeks has gone right down in my estimation when he does a podcast saying, yeah, and as the referee bloke on there, Webb, and oh yes, there is a bit of referees do go into other games with a bit that was mid, and then he turns around and says, really, seriously, Arsenal fans, do you think that he is? Yes, because 3 weeks ago on your stupid podcast, you said exactly that, you stupid twat. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I would call him that and all that because, you know, he's a nice guy and all that, like, but, you know, don't insult Arsenal supporters. You know what I mean? Like, there's facts out there that Mike Oliver referees games differently when he referees Arsenal, and he refereed it a little bit different today, or whoever he was. You know what I mean? Like,
Peter Banks.
yeah, Peter Wanks.
Got
Yeah.
one of the worst haircuts you've seen in a while. Let me tell you that. His hairline was
At the
shocking.
end of the day,
He's
at
a Liverpool
the end of
fan,
the day,
apparently. Apparently, he's a
huh?
Liverpool fan.
Yeah, Liverpool fan, like, you know. So, but listen, that's what we got to do. We go against it. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm not saying he was a poor ref today or whatever. He just referees it a little bit different to us, to the other teams, and we have to accept that. But what I will say is that, I look at Gary Neville's decision today as Declan Rice. I'm not arguing with that, but Thomas Partey was just, I think, in my opinion, I don't know what the people in the chat were saying, but I thought Thomas Partey was man of the match today.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to argue with Declan Rice. If people want to give it to Miles Lewis-skelly as well, I'm all for that, But the fact of the matter is that Bernardo Silva kicked out at Trossard today. That was right by us, Dan. We see it. Chose to do nothing about it. Why?
It was poor. It was really poor.
There you go. You know what I mean? So, but listen, I think that I know. Do you know what my dad used to say this sometimes? I know when we was playing as kids and all that, goes a man in the match, and he said, all 11 of you today.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I said, oh no, you got to have a man match. He said, not when you have a team performance like that today. It's all 11. And I never really agree with it, but today I think I slightly did. As you said, Timber was outstanding. You can go through the back four was outstanding. Raya, if he doesn't make those saves, we don't win that game.
Yeah.
The front three's work rate was exceptional. The midfield was unbelievable. They all played their part today. The work rate of the team, the shutting down from Odegaard was sensational in that first half. So listen, they all done very, very well today. The manager's got to take a lot of credit for it as well. Who's that? AJ saying in the chat, that the Havertz missed that probably puts him slightly less than everybody else. If I'll be honest, I think that. I thought he was very, very good today. I think everybody's got an 8 and 9s today. Like, you know what I mean? If Havertz takes that chance, he's on the 9 list. But I think with that miss, I'm giving him an 8, maybe a 7. Can't miss chances like that, Dan. Can't miss chances like that. You know what I mean? At this level, But I have to give him credit. He never hides, does he? You know what I mean? Like, he could actually not want to be involved after that, but he does. But Declan Rice, I know he was playing a sort of the 8 today, but I love that when he wins the ball high up like that, and he does it so well. That tackle for the Havertz miss is unbelievable, Dan. I've watched it 6 times already. Like, you know what I mean? It's just brilliant. And he's, there are no mugs in that midfield of Manchester City. But he made them look poor. Made them look poor in there, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really enjoyable day today, like, and the performances of the team was exceptional.
Look, I thought it was, and there's a lot more performances that I'm sure we'll see from Declan Rice, but that was one that I really enjoyed in the 8. There's also the fact that he kind of in and out of possession was going into the kind of double pivot a bit more, which I do like. I do like him there. I don't think he can't play in the 8. I just prefer him in the 6. But today, when he's like that, I don't care where he plays. Just honestly, just absolutely sensational. And Thomas Partey is beautiful to watch, mate, in that position. As a 6, he's just a fantastic player. And I've said before, I think he's one of our best players. When everyone's on song, I honestly think he's one of our best players, Lee, Thomas Partey.
Yeah,
I really do.
100%. 100%.
And I used to play in that position, so I kind of like that players in that position, the holding midfield role. It was such a good player to watch. He really is. And the way he glides through and the way that he just sort of mops up and his little anchors that midfield so well. A massive, massive fan. Really am. And I have to say, I listened to Gary Neville tonight, funny enough, on his podcast thing or whatever it is, talking about Waneri and Lewis-skelly. And the last time we saw young players, it kind of saved Mikel. And I kind of feel like we might be doing it again. I'm not saying it's saved Mikel for his job, but it's given him a bit of something else when he didn't quite think he had it. I think when we were looking at signings and we were looking at what do we go to next, he kind of stumbled across Saka, Smith Rowe and Martinelli. And to be fair, Maitland-Niles, Willock and Nelson and Smith Rowe and all these guys as well, Eddie Nketiah as well. And some of them got him out of jail a bit. And I honestly believe, like you said earlier, Ethan Waneri, I think he is now the Saka cover. He is now the Saka cover for me. Now, we still need to go and buy somebody in the creative midfield role or the attacking 8 role, whatever you want to call it. But for me, I think you use Waneri whenever Saka's out now. That's done and dusted, right? Yeah. Then you've got Lewis-skelly, who I know people will say, why did we spend £40 million on Calafiori? But I don't think that anyone knew he was going to be ready, Lee. I don't think anyone thought he was going to be our left-back cover. So these two have come on the scene and I think have given Mikel something to have concerns about. I want to ask you, because I know you said you don't want to talk about it. Tomorrow, it is deadline day.
Yeah.
I don't really care what names you throw at me or if anything's going to happen. But if it does, and we are sitting there tomorrow thinking, blimey, Arsenal have got a forward in. How will you feel? And what I mean by that is not like how will you feel, because it will obviously depend on who it is. But if we bring in someone, like, will you be annoyed if it's someone you like because it's like, oh, it's kind of happened too late? Or will you be like, wow, okay, that's given me a boost? And then on the flip side of that, if we get someone that you kind of raise your eyebrows at and are like, what the hell's that then? Who's he? What's he going to do? How will that also make you feel? Have I confused you there? That's a bit of
No, I know exactly what you mean and all that. I'm going to be disappointed whatever happens. I feel let down. You know what I mean? If we should have got whoever this striker is, it shouldn't be on the last day then, in my opinion. I know, like, say if it is a Kugeres for you, like, you're going to be well happy with that, like, you know what I mean? Like, if it is him,
I will be happy, but I'll be frustrated. It's happened late. Yeah.
So would I. I would be, like, if it's what's this fella at Bayern Munich, like, you know what I mean? Tell you what, you know what I mean? I'll be like, well, we're not very happy with that whatsoever, like, So, well, I won't be. I'm not having that. That ain't gonna break the internet, is it? Like, you know what I mean? It'd break my fucking pencil. That wouldn't. I'll tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like, so we're waiting to see. But whatever happens, I'm going to go in there tomorrow disappointed. I feel we've been let down a little bit, like,
Oh, we have been.
And listen, it's not going to spoil my night tonight. I've had a fantastic night. I'm buzzing about tonight and everything like that. But I've known we needed a striker for a few years because, listen, Dan, I'll be really honest when we say this, right? If Arsenal play like that every single game now to the end of the season, we win every game, right?
Yeah.
Win every game. No one will get near us, right? But you're not going to play like that when everybody's on form, everybody's playing well. Sometimes you're going to be not quite at it, and your forward gets you out of trouble, that goal scorer, and you end up walking away from a ground. And we don't do it a lot. When you thought, we ain't played well today, but we've won. Now, Liverpool didn't play that well against Bournemouth yesterday, but they've won 2 goals from a certain we know who. And that's what we lack. When we can turn around and go, do you know what? We've had to dig in. We ain't played as well as what we can do, but we've beaten a very, very good team for 2-0. And that's it, like, So, listen, I think that we're desperate to see some, because I've said it along for many a time now, Dan. I've always said I think we're still in with a chance of winning the title. I do. I know people say that I'm mad and everything like that, but
Well, we are
You
though,
know,
Lee. Like people say you're mad if you say you. People might think you're mad if you say I believe Arsenal will win the league. They don't think you're mad by saying that we're in the title race because look, we are. Let's just bring up the table and show you, right? This is the table as it stands at the moment. Forest, by the way, unbelievable. I still don't have
unbelievable,
them down to win the title, but I think
unbelievable.
they're right in the mix. Look, we're 6 points off of it. Liverpool go to the Merseyside derby, last one at Goodison. Everton, by the way, are playing well now, right under Moyes. So it ain't going to be a given that the Liverpool Everton game is completely different for them than it would be for any other team, right? So that for me is going to be a hard game. I have Liverpool to win it still, but if they were to take a point, which apparently is majority of the results of the last few years at the Goodison Park, then of course they would have dropped some, and there'll be 7 points in front of us. If they could go to there, it would be 9. But if we win every single one of our games now, we'd be on 92 points, which ain't going to happen, in my opinion. We will drop points. Liverpool, though, they will drop points as well. Like Liverpool have got tough games coming up. They have got to go to hard grounds. So there is a lot to play for. 14 games left, 15 for them. Obviously, they've got Everton. After that Everton game, there'll be 14 games that we both have to play. I don't think you're going to need 90 points this season. I honestly don't. And I know it sounds mad because Liverpool have only lost 1 game and drew 5. But those games they have drew, if you put it on average again, they're going to draw more, they're going to lose more. So I do think that there is going to be an opportunity for one of us or somebody to win the league by, say, 85 points, something like that, 86 points. Could be wrong. We don't know what it's going to be prediction-wise. But that's what I would say. I don't want to look too far ahead at this, but I honestly do feel if I had to pick one competition that we'd have the most chance of winning, I would lean towards the Champions League more than the league. And I know that
Mm.
sounds mad to say because Arsenal's European heritage is shocking, but I just think Liverpool look too good domestically. And I know they look good in the Champions League as well, but in the knockout stage, you can beat anyone. And I just feel like over 2 legs, I fancy us more than I do to go and win the next 14 games in the league. Does that make sense, Lee?
Yeah, anything can happen in the Champions League. You need a little bit of luck in the draw. We're going to need a little bit of luck in the draw to get down on the bottom half of the table. If we get down to the bottom half of the draw, we've got a very, very good chance. You know what I mean? But I just think that it come down to moments, and your top players win your games and the moments. But listen, at the end of the day, you know, this team went on an unbelievable run with Havertz and Trossard and Martinelli and Saka. I know was in the team as well, and went on a magnificent run. I don't see Saka coming back. Obviously, we know Jesus is not going to come back. So I just feel that when push comes to shove, and really when it really matters, we're just not going to have enough firepower. And I don't mean this horribly today, you know, and I don't want to take away from today because it's a fantastic result. But they're not a good side, Man City. There's better teams in the Champions League than Man City. I think Man City are going to struggle against Real Madrid over 2 legs. I really do. There's something not right at Man City. So, you know, we've got some difficult games coming up. You know, our next league game's Leicester away. That okay, we should go there and win that game there. Then we got West Ham, and then we got Nottingham Forest on a Wednesday night. You know, that's going to be really tough. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, our next away game after that, probably Man United away. You look at that in a way that they're playing, no, but the way Man United will set up that game will be difficult for us. So we've got some difficult games to play, you know. I think we've got Everton away as well, which is not going to be easy. And then, well, what we've got to do, Dan, is somehow get ourselves to Anfield, knowing if we can beat Liverpool, we can go within a point or level with them or something like that. That's what we've got to do. So if they're going to drop points,
even if we could be 3 points behind them when we're about to play them.
Yes. At the moment, we're 6, aren't we? So, you know, if they were to lose to or drop points against Everton, you know, we can get it down to 2 or 3 and you know, just put a bit of pressure on, like, you know. But it's going to be difficult, I have to say. But the way we played today gives me a lot of encouragement and as I say, like, you know, in the context of the season, that was enjoyable today. It was really, really good. Let's see what happens tomorrow in the transfer window. I honestly think, Dan, we're all going to be very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. If we come out of tomorrow's transfer window, maybe we'll do something in the evening. If we come away from that and we're both buzzing, and I mean both buzzing, because I'm a little bit more tolerant than you. If we're both buzzing from it, then we know that we've had a good window. I've got a feeling that we're both going to be unhappy.
Unfortunately, mate, I think, you know, what we want now is you beat one, you win 5-1, you go get a couple of signings deadline day, you beat Newcastle, and everything starts to look more positive. We know the reality. We're asking for too much there. I don't think we're going to get anyone, and I do think we're going to go out because I think we've ruined it in the first leg. And it won't be, oh my God, Arsenal are a mess in this St James's Park. They've messed it up. No, we messed it up at home. We messed it up at home. And I've counted up our fixtures. I think we're going to win 10 of the 14 games. So I think we're going to drop in 4 more games. And that ain't going to be enough to win the league, if I'm honest. If I'm brutally honest. You know, I think, you know, I'll quickly go through it now in the what I think. Beat Leicester, beat West Ham, drop at Forest away. I think we're going to drop at Old Trafford, even though I think they're rubbish.
Yeah.
I don't think I think we'll beat Chelsea. Beat Fulham, beat Everton, beat Brentford, beat Ipswich, beat Palace. I think we will beat Bournemouth at home. We'll drop at Anfield. I think we'll drop at home to Newcastle because they just seem to know how to play us, and we'll beat Southampton. So I think they're the 4 that will drop in. So, you know, I don't think any of that was unrealistic either. I think that's fairly realistic. We might drop a couple more at home, you know, because that's what Arsenal do. But I do think that we will drop 4 games, and I don't think that'll be enough. I think we can only afford to drop 2 more, and I think we have to beat Liverpool at Anfield. So that's where I'm at, and I don't think we'll do that, Lee. So that's just me being realistic, but we don't know.
No, listen, I'm not going to argue that. Like, I see exactly where you're coming from there. Yep.
So we'll see. But look, we're going to leave it there. It's
worries.
very, very late. It's very late. Let's do a couple of super chats before we do go to close. Michael says, Cronkies wouldn't know it's deadline day because the NBA trade deadline day is in 3 days and they'll be more worried about the Nuggets. Yeah, unfortunately, you're probably not wrong there, bruv. Sports Genius says, Lee, you are the GOAT. Skelly, what a footballer. What a footballer. Let's sign a forward and we can do something, guys. We all want a forward. Everybody wants a forward.
Everybody wants a forward.
Are we going to get one? Let's see. We'll have to pray with everything that we do get something across the line. And then we look forward to Newcastle. But it's been a pleasure. Make sure you do me a favor, people. Hit the like button and hit subscribe. We've got 700 people in here and we haven't even got to 200 likes. So come on, people. Hit the like button and the subscribe button on the way to 50K. Please come follow myself on Football's 12th Man as well and check out the last show I've just done with the boys. And yeah, we will see you next time. Lee, I'll let you say goodbye and good night.
Listen, it's been a 5-star performance tonight. Or last night now, because it's in the morning. Enjoy the rest of the day. Arsenal, let's get this right, have just smashed Manchester City. Good night.